I had that thought. And because of, as I was learning about different high income skills, and I was already very entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. So even though a lot of entrepreneurial activities I was doing, copywriting.
Was on computer.
It was computer, like hiding behind a computer. I didn't have to deal with people.
Right.
I didn't have to deal with people. But because I was so good at it, I was making very good living as a young guy. And people started asking me, like, how do you do what you do? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? Like, you just do this. I show them on the computer. I do my kind of geeky kind of thing, right? I do my thing. I say, okay, here we go.
Yep.
And they're like, what did you do? Like, can you show us more? I said, what do you mean? Like, okay, here you go. This is how you do it. Like,
SEO.
Yeah, like, just do this stuff. Like, to me, because it's so second nature. They're like, no. Like, can you teach us? Mm-hmm. I said, what do you mean, like, teach you? Can you do some kind of a workshop?
Right.
Like, speak to our people.
Is that when you discovered you really enjoyed teaching?
That's a good question. I enjoy teaching. I later discovered, but I actually enjoyed teaching back when I was already in high school when I was learning martial art, mm-hmm. and I was already teaching martial art in high school because I got bullied, right? So from there, I didn't know what it was like. I didn't know it's called teaching.
Right.
I just knew I like to share what I do and what I know, and when I see people using. Mm-hmm. And using what I teach and it's impacting their lives, I get a kick. I got a kick out of it, right?
I remember a phrase once: "Learn, do, teach."
That's right.
And then I also remember you telling the story. There's a YouTube video of you where you talk about when you're at school, you got bullied. Then when you did martial arts, you used to have like all the other kids come out. And so that's when it started, really?
That's when I started.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was back in high school in cafeteria. That I would just in lunchtime I would teach martial art. Right?
Is it a way for you to better your skill when you learn, you do it, and of course naturally if you have to teach
it is, but back then I didn't think about that. It's just something that I do. It's just like, oh, you asked me, I didn't charge anything.
Right.
If you asked me, what would you? I said, you just do this, and I was just thought you asked me, and then I share with you.
I guess the problem with a lot of people that do learn, do, teach is they don't even do it properly. They're trying to teach it, so now they're teaching the shit to other people.
That's right. Okay. That's right. So from there, as I was teaching at like this Toastmasters back then, you can see me in the middle, right? That was my father's jacket, right? Right, back in Toastmasters, right? Like that's me in the middle. You can see right there. Now, at the time, what's very interesting is we had a lot of people who would go through Toastmasters. That would come to the club, mm-hmm. right? And you would hear stories like, wow, wouldn't it be great if they could be I'd be a professional speaker, including at the time the president who told me I've got an X factor. He wanted to be a professional speaker.
Right.
Now, but guess what? Over the years, as far as I know, because I still know, as far as I know, guess how many people eventually went on and become a professional speaker?
Only you. Yeah.
That's right. 0, except me. 0. None. Why?
Nobody implements, Adam says.
Nobody implements, yes.
You kept at it, commitment, practice.
Consistency, yes. No drive. It's a nice idea to have, but they're not that serious. Many reasons, right? So then I was speaking as a young guy, right? Speaking at, business type setting. Was speaking to people, small group at first, you can see 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, right? It wasn't a big crowd. I think I was speaking at a local cash flow club mm-hmm. at the time.
Oh yeah, you can see the cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow club, right? It's more like in a community center, small group of people. I was 20 somewhat years old, right? I was already, I think at this point I was 23, 4, maybe something like that.
You had a better suit, I think, already by then. A little bit.
Right. So at the time, so just think about that. That's how we got started. From there, then to later on, more and more time, more practice to this, to being the opening speaker for TEDx, not once, twice. This is TEDx Stanley Park, I believe. I was speaking to 2,600 people in Vancouver, being the opening speaker in my red suit, from the shy, nervous, uncertain, like kind of young guy to being the opening speaker for TEDx Stanley Park. A speaker is made. It's not born. I made myself a great presenter and speaker. Took many years. Many, many years. And over the years, I've learned a lot of lessons. I'm going to teach some of the most important lessons that I've learned with you tonight. But I want you to know, doesn't matter if you're speaking with an accent, doesn't matter if you're not tall enough, doesn't matter if you're not articulate enough, doesn't matter if you lack confidence, doesn't matter if you get nervous, none of this shit matters. With practice, with the right training and coaching, you could get, now, are you going to get to this level? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
But at least you could get better, yes? You get just a little bit better. Yes.
I know one thing for certain, Sifu, because you gave me that opportunity to learn how to, speak publicly. I may not be as good as you, but I know certainly for a fact that I'm able to, when I'm put on stages, I can get up there, I can MC, I can do different things. So it may not be a high income skill for me, but the confidence is definitely conveyed through. I see the world in a different way. When I go and I see speakers now, I understand differently about what they're doing up on stage.
And think about your own life. How many opportunities you missed because you didn't have this particular skill set? How many opportunities just slip through your fingers when maybe it's in a business setting that, hey, there's an opportunity for you to lead, to present, but you were nervous, so you're like, maybe not me, maybe somebody else, right? Or maybe opportunities where you could speak to a very important client, but because you were nervous, you weren't prepared, you didn't have the skill sets, and you lose the deal. Could that be a possibility? Just want you to think about how many opportunities, how much money you've lost as a result of not having this skill set. Many, too many. It affects the quality of your life. Yes, it builds your confidence too. Adam saying I was offered to speak at TED. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Very good. So what's secret number one? A speaker is made and not born.
Made. Yeah.
Right? Is made. Okay. So as a speaker, this is Darren LaCroft. Now you may not know who Darren is. Darren is actually world champion speaker for Toastmasters. One of the years. Meaning that out of worldwide 25,000 contestants.
And he's
the number one.
Number one.
Worldwide. So wouldn't you say that's pretty good, right? Not only you have out of all the clubs from all over the world, but out of the 25,000 in a local level, club by club, district by district, beating everybody, world stage, and to become the number one world champion speaker. Yes? Impressive. Very, very impressive, right? Very impressive. And guess what? Many years ago, that was so many years ago, this is many years ago, you can see a post that he did. He was growing a speaking business. He saw me spoke at a conference, right? And the time was already pretty successful. He saw what I did. He asked me to be his mentor. I was the one who told him to be on YouTube. And you can see a little thing that he said. Can you see?
Yeah. Many years ago, I made a great decision about consistency. Due to coaxing from a marketing mentor, Dan Locke, I created a habit of putting up one video a day on YouTube. Though I did not have a perfect track record of that, I have consistently added many each week. I'm not exactly hitting the goal of one each day, but this has nevertheless brought me marketing momentum over the years. I now have over 2.5 million views on over 1,290 videos. These videos bring me an average of 7,000 views weekly.
That was a post from many, many years ago.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
But what I want to share with you, you don't know once you have the skill. Who'd have known from that kid? All I wanted to do was improve my English and reduce my accent.
Right.
To then coaching the world champion, like the speaker champion of the world. Like just think about the journey. Isn't it insane? Anything is possible. Anything is possible in life, right? So I want you to just remember everything I'm going to teach you. I want you to look at both pictures. From this to that. Tell me about the man, the Sifu that you know today in the red suit.
And it's coming in on the chat here. Powerful, polished, certainty, confident, speak with conviction, total authority. I'm not going to read that one. Posture is totally different. Clarity, empowerment, evolution, look like money, well known, can move mountains, a role model that I look up to, world number one, the king of high ticket sales. Don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Clearly well practiced. Progress, brave, authority.
Progress. Maybe you started off like what Sifu was like many years ago. Maybe you're a little bit better. Maybe a little bit worse. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You just need to forget comparing yourself to everybody else. Who should you compare yourself to? Yourself. You want to be a better version of yourself. You want to be just a little bit better as a speaker. Forget trying to compare yourself to me, to anybody else. Forget that. Compare that to yourself, to the you yesterday, to the you a month ago, to the you a year ago. That's the only competition you need to worry about. Forget everything else. Makes sense, right? So, secret number 2, eliminate stage fright. Now, how do you eliminate stage fright? How many of you get nervous when you have to present, especially before you go up to stage or before kind of step in the front of the room? And you get sweaty palms, you get nervous,
dizzy,
or you
can't breathe.
You breathe very fast,
Yeah.
right? Or you're sweating, right? How many of you experience that, right?
This is the worst for me here. Yes.
I
forget everything
forget
about
everything I
what
was about to say. Yes, that's right. Okay.
I get scatterbrain and I forget everything.
Yeah, scatter. So now, you're worried too much. I'm going to say this. What should I start off with? All these things, right? So let me cure this once and for all. Stage fright occurs because you're more concerned about yourself than your audience. It's very simple. I used to have some terrible stage fright. I would get very, very, very nervous because whenever I have to go on stage, I would remember when I was in high school when I couldn't speak a word of English, right? So I would remember a lot of those scenarios. Oh, they're gonna laugh at me. They're not gonna understand what I say, and then they're gonna laugh at my accent.
People are not gonna react to you.
They're not gonna react to you. They're not gonna pay attention. Like a lot of these stories in my mind. And I notice whenever you get nervous, whenever I get nervous, it's simply because you are focusing so much on yourself and not on your audience. It's very, very simple. Why do you get nervous? Because before you walk up to the stage, before you present, what's going through your mind is this: are they gonna like me? Am I gonna be well received? Do I look good? Do I sound smart? All these things.
What if I forget what I say?
What if I forget? Which again, same thing. What if I embarrass myself? Whenever you get nervous, the only reason you get nervous is because you're focusing on yourself and not on your audience. The minute when I got that, when I kind of put myself, just put that aside. Put your audience first. Put your audience first. You notice your nervousness, your stage fright dramatically reduced. Dramatically reduced. When you're only focusing on, okay, what's the outcome that I want my audience to get? What I want them to walk away with? What's the value I'm delivering? Does that make sense? The minute you stop focusing on yourself, just focusing on the audience, you see you're a lot less nervous. Because all this, tell me if it's not true. Everything that you're thinking about, anything that makes you nervous, guaranteed, tell me, it's all you. It's all you're focusing on yourself, you get nervous. Period. Right? But when you're focusing on the audience, you don't get nervous. Because you don't really care. You're not focusing on, do I look good? Do I sound good? Do I look smart? No. I care about if my audience is getting value. I care about if they're walking away with something. I care if they get it. I care if I help them. I care if I even make some kind of impact, transform their lives. That's your number one focus. Then this stuff, all the me, all your ego, put aside. Get